Oh. I'm hoping my connection is good today because I did a playback or I was watching the playback of the ladies that I was speaking with, and I was lagging. My God. But let me send this out to a few people, and I'll go ahead and get started. And send it to my people. I see you. How do I invite? Okay, I think I've sent you a request.
Hey.
Boom, baby.
Oh my gosh, this is my first time doing
Yes,
this.
I'm so excited. The energy is always different between everybody. So I'm always excited for each new week.
Yes.
But I know it's only us in here right now. So usually as the call goes on, a little people peep through, whatever, seeing what the call is about. But I think the most important thing for these lives is it provides a playback for people to hear certain conversations to be had. So whether they're here right now or whether they're going to watch the video later, I'm glad to have somebody like you up here to be speaking about that with, because I admire you a lot, for
Oh,
sure. Yeah, and so that's why I thought of you to do the live for today. But nonetheless, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I, hold on, I'm trying to get my phone situated, as you can see. Let me see. I want to make sure we're good so I don't have to bother it. Yes, I'm doing great. I got through the hair today. You see that it's slicked?
Girl, I was looking at it. I said, okay, curl pattern.
I was like, let me get some gel and whoop,
Yeah,
go ahead and tie it down. So we got it for today, for sure,
girl.
for
I
sure.
see the curl pattern, the edges, a little swoopy swoop. You know, I love swoop.
All right. I see your slip back game nice over there too.
Listen, I literally, I'm on this wave of doing nothing to my hair. It's literally like water and I'm slicking it back. I ain't got time for nothing else. So,
Really?
yes, girl,
Oh,
I haven't done my hair in like a week. Like, not even gonna lie. So,
same here. Like this is like a old like Bantu knot set. So I really wasn't doing anything for it for the week. So today was really because I didn't want to, do too much, be brushing it and stuff
mm,
like that. So I was like, let me just do something with it today because show
it.
love for the
I
people.
saw when you had it out the other day. I think like on your story, I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yes, we're just trying stuff, definitely for sure. But um nonetheless, as we dive into things, and if you ever see me looking down, I just have my notes in front of me to make sure I'm on course with everything. But before we delve into everything, let people know who Leah is. Who is Leah? Because even though I know personally when I'm looking on your story, those people who don't post too much, but you're always interested in what they have going on. So let me know, who is Leah?
Okay, so as it says on the flyer, is a designer. And just what that means for me is understanding what I want, seeing it in my head, and making it a reality in every aspect of my life. So, like, the biggest thing for me right now at this phase of my life is overall well being, not just paying attention to exercise, but what I'm putting into my body, what I'm listening to,
Mm,
people I have around me. So that's pretty much what I am. That's what my brand is based off of. It's just like healthy living overall.
I love that. And I even just the definition of branding, like the difference between marketing and branding. I've recently learned the difference. of, because when you're marketing, it's more so, you know, you think about business, or maybe you're have something to sell per se, but branding is who you are, is
Right.
what your lifestyle is, your
Right.
values, what you believe in. So I'm glad that, even I feel like sometimes, and you can agree with this or not, sometimes people they think their branding is I don't know, like they get to social media with it. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I feel like for me, for a long time, I thought that I had to create a brand, but I
Mm-hmm.
like I already am a brand and
Yes. Yes,
just
yes,
be
yes.
yourself. But like that, I feel like it's social media. You're looking at other people like, okay, well, they're doing this and they're doing really well, but it doesn't mean if you go do the same thing that you're going to do extremely well, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not who you are. And also, I've been seeing like the little TikTok about like creating content or whatever. And it's just like, just record yourself. You are the content. You don't got to create content.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
I think it puts a lot less pressure when you're just doing what you already do on a day-to-day basis and sharing it with the world.
Right. I would say too, even that just going off of that, the like, you are the content. Whenever I am doing like hair stuff, I'm like, just put a video on, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because people are interested in you know how black girls do their hair. You know, there's people who, how do I deal with, not deal with, but how do I, you know, maintain 4C hair? What kind of styles can I do their hair? You know what I'm saying? But people,
Yeah.
it's not only that, but people want to see you. They want to
Mm.
see you, and they want to see your life for sure. So I definitely love that. But I guess my first question for you, after everything has been said, what has your experience been like? Not only with branding, but starting up businesses as well. Because well, you can go a little into that, as far as, you know, any type of business endeavors that you've done.
Okay. Gosh, where did I start? I would say uh, my entrepreneurship journey started in 2019. I'm trying to think of like flashback to the phase of my life I was in, like kind of explaining it. And I feel like everybody can relate to this. Sophomore year, I'm working two jobs. I'm tired. And I see on social media, okay, Forex is a new wave. People are hitting all of these ranks. I'm about to be a Forex trader. And it's going to be
Wow.
like this. And I'm going to make so much money in the next 30
Have
days.
you heard of trading before that?
I
Before
did.
like
I heard of trading maybe, I would say, a couple months before, not a whole year before but I was actually launched too. And I was
Mhm.
like, I ain't about to is, like I'm just gonna keep working my job or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
and then like, I got tired of working two jobs. So I
Hmm.
was like, okay, so let me trade. And honestly, it did not work for me at that time in my life. And I think it was due to my mindset. Um,
Right.
that I'm like, okay, this is a quick come up. I ain't gonna have to do too much. Like I'm just gonna put the money in and boom, that's it. I'm gonna watch it grow.
Right.
So it did not work for me. Maybe so that was 2019. A couple months later, circle back. And that's when I'm like, okay, like I'm in a better mental space to where I can actually work on this skill set. And then after I got back into trading, I'm like, okay, trading is life. Trading is life. I'll never do anything else in my life. Like I don't need anything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like last year I realized, okay, trading is not life. trading, trading is like a jump start or like a stepping stone to what I really want to do. Um,
Right.
and it's just like I actually love trading, but is it something that I only want to do every single day? No, like I have dreams of being a franchise owner. So I just want to create a franchise with products and services that cater to the community at an affordable price, and also just educating them about well-being.
Mm.
So
Love that.
dream for long term. For right now, I'm working on starting a nonprofit organization
Yeah.
in Wilson. So I stay in Wilson, North Carolina. It's a really small community, and I want to create a nonprofit that is kind of going to be like what I want to do with my franchise, focusing on well-being. So connecting them to mental health services,
Mhm.
getting like beautified. So having barbershop connections or hairdresser connections, things like that. Just basic necessities that go beyond food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do. And then as of right now, what I'm working on as well, which will launch at the end of this year, is a blog on
I love that.
course. So
Yeah.
it's that I am facing currently that I have faced in the past, creating a blog that is giving people a guide so it doesn't take them as long as it did for me to get to a solution essentially.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that first and foremost is being able to give to the community in a
Mm-hmm.
way that's very basic, fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
It's that well-being aspect because even for this project, what I'm focused on is mental and financial wellness,
Mm-hmm.
right? So being, like I said, being able to give to the community in that way. And there was another thing that you said that I was going to ask a question on, but it's really losing me, to be honest. But the first thing is trading is not life. Now that's one source, or not even just one source of income, but just something that you've recently became interested in. Now that's just the skill set itself when it came to the business aspect of it, as far as I guess building goals and being able to expand, whether if it was within the social media community or within your own community, right? Um, I don't. Did you ever like get a take or get a little? I was going to say sniff, but get a sniff of the hustle culture, or when was it? Like when did you kind of brush up against it? If you um, did you kind of brush up against it a little bit, or
I would say yes.
okay?
And
And
the
then, but well, before you do that, what is hustle culture to you?
hustle culture to me, well, I'll tell you what I thought it was and what I think it is now.
Okay.
So, hustle culture for me in the past was just you're always on go. Like the grind don't stop. Like things happen, but that's okay. We keep going. We keep going. We don't have to worry about things that happen. Now hustle culture is to me not only getting it by any means possible, but having resilience. So
Mm,
for me, that is okay, things do happen, but I can also deal with those things and also come back to the hustle, come back to the grind. So that's what hustle culture is for me. I feel like it has its negatives and its positives. I don't know if that
mhm.
answered your question.
Yeah, the answer to the first part for sure, and I guess it'll kind of slide into, I guess, if you experience it, or I know you said you kind of did. So,
Oh,
but like, what ways?
okay. So when I again like when I first came into trading and then the building side, I was in it for the wrong reasons.
Mm,
So I was thinking about the money and it was really on some like launching all the time, which is not
mm.
a bad thing, but it gave me a burnout after about 6 months,
Mhm.
um, which is not longevity.
Oh.
So that was the side of hustle culture that I experienced with network marketing. I feel like we kind of get caught up on the dollar sign and we see again other people, okay, this person they hit it. They're making this type of money, so I can go do it in half the time, which is possible, but I feel like it also comes back to doing it your own way, kind of figuring out how you're going to brand yourself so that people want to join you, not just the business or not just sign up under you to trade, learn how to trade or whatever. It's like
Yeah,
you have to present yourself in a way that makes people want to trust you and trust you enough like long term to stay within your business.
absolutely. I think um I think for me there's always balance between two things, but there's also an extremity. I think I'm saying the word right, extremity. But hustle culture, or hustle just in general,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, hustle culture, it represents an extremity. Like, it represents an extremity of a spectrum. So you have this side of the spectrum, and then you have this side of the spectrum where people aren't as motivated, or they're settling, or whatever you want to call it. Um, and I think and you can agree with this or not, I think understanding or experiencing one spectrum and then being kind of like thrown into another spectrum or another extremity, it
Mm-hmm.
balances you out.
Yeah.
um it did, like, it's hustling, or the hustle culture itself, it does open your eyes up. Like, it opens your mind, and it forces you to think bigger. Like,
Yeah.
whatever story that you've been telling yourself, and I want to hear yours, like what your story was that you were telling yourself maybe before you got into the motivate and go, you know what I'm saying? But whatever story that you were telling yourself, whomever you're listening to within that culture, they're telling you to think bigger. No, well, you've been thinking this small, it'll expand this way, broaden it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's something I am thankful for. Even if you look at people that are on your feed right now, in the explore page, they're always telling you to think bigger into, if the story that you're telling yourself has not been serving you, what can you start telling yourself so that you at least can be happy, or be excited to wake up every single day, you know what I'm saying, because there's something to look forward to. So I guess even for yourself, what was that story that you were telling yourself beforehand, and then how did, I guess, hustle culture affect that for you?
Um, so first I like how you explained hustle culture. That was a good definition.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're saying it's like a spectrum. So I feel
Mhm.
like, to answer your question beforehand, and I feel like a lot of people may experience this, you go kind of based off of what you've always known about yourself or
Mhm.
about your environment. So for me, I was like, not that I never believed that I would be successful in life, but I didn't believe in too much success, especially not at my age. I always thought about, okay, like, I'm working two jobs. I'm doing good. I'm successful. I have money. No, I don't have time, but I have money. And I feel like the story that I was telling myself, as long as I had money, that everything was going to be okay. And I didn't plan on having any sense of relaxation in my life until I was like 60. So like I
Mhm.
was literally in it for the long haul. I just thought that that's what everybody does, but that's because that's what I've always known. That's
Yeah.
And then somebody come up to me, they in their 20s, Kalaya, like, oh, he 20 something and he's doing this, he's doing that. I'm like,
Yeah. And for anybody that, just right quick, anybody who doesn't know who she's referring to, Kalai was both one of our mentors, but he's someone that lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a club owner. He's an investor, and he's definitely made his impact within his own community for sure.
for sure. And it was just like, when he was actually the very first person who launched me. And I'm listening to him and I'm like, ain't no way. Like, ain't no way. Like, his life is this good. We go to the same college. Ain't no way.
Mm-hmm.
I just could not fathom that idea. But then, like, as time went on, I'm like, wait, like, I see more people who are experiencing the same fruits that he is. And I'm like, I want that. I can have that. So it was like, over time, my spectrum shifted
Mm-hmm.
side to the other. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, success is really about happiness, enjoying your life. I thought it was about money, but it really is about waking up and like living in your purpose, feeling free to, okay, today, if I don't want to do anything, I don't have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
okay with being lazy or being And I don't even want to say unproductive, because I don't think that being lazy and being unproductive is the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
I have lazy days where I'm in my bed, but I got my laptop, like I'm doing something. So I would say, like, I definitely did have that shift, but it did take years for me to get to that mindset.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned I'm glad you mentioned that because it's kind of where I wanted to go into next because in what you said earlier about, after a point in time of like being on go, 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 there comes burnout. Especially if you're not used to being on go, 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 go. You know what I'm saying? And someone's telling you gotta go, 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 go. If not, then you don't really want it. You know what I'm saying? So now we going, going, going. You know what I'm saying? But that burnout aspect, because that's something that I experienced as well, and I experienced it very often. I think if you're somebody that is an overthinker, perhaps you're a people pleaser, and everyone has those that a level of those things in them. Everybody does, like a level of people pleasing, a level of anxiety, a level of overthinking. Something like this could push those things a little, like just a tad bit over the cup, like you're
Mm-hmm.
almost sipping. You know what I'm saying? To where you're like, surely this is not the mental aspect of it. Surely this is not how I'm supposed to be living. You know what I'm saying? Like, or thinking or feeling, whatever the case may be. But I think it just speaks on like the con of hustle culture if you don't have a sense of what success is. If you continue to allow other people to define what success is for you. I don't know if you've seen this video. I or the Earn Your Leisure Instagram page.
Yes.
Okay, they have a lot of great clips and a great podcast as well. But there was a video of a gentleman that I was watching a couple of days ago, and he was saying that, it was I shared it on my story. It was like we need to redefine what real is, and how real to you may be, or real to you may be different from what real is to me, right? Or success to you may be different than what success is to me, because your success is based off of what you love. It's based off of your passions. It's based off of the lifestyle that you want to live. And we are two different people. So, and even through watching that video, and there's an audio that I'm listening to and that I've been recommending, but it's called The Psychology of Money. And it's by Morgan Housel. And what he's saying is, know when enough is enough. Where somebody is a multi-millionaire, or maybe, I don't know, you got millions coming in for the year, that's enough for you, right?
Right.
That's enough for you. It pays for everything that you need. Your family is taken care of. You can provide in the way that you want to. I don't know, maybe your parents are taken care of. Vacations that you want to go on, you can do that. But hustle culture, or just being in, oh, hey, Donitra, but being, I don't know, keep going and going and not knowing when to stop, that can, I don't know, put a risk at a lot of things, to where you think happiness is being a billionaire, when at
Right.
the end of the day, humility and I guess that burnout can make you realize that, like, no, like, I'm okay with where I am, and
Mhm.
enjoying life is what it's about, and
Right.
not being so attached to what money can do. Like, yes, it allows for people to survive and everything, but there's just a level of humility that I came to after being so up in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. It's just like, kind of bouncing off of what you said, like, my definition of success is different from your of success. And even as time goes on, it'll be, my definition of what'll make me feel successful will be different from what
Because
it
we
is,
evolve.
yeah, in like 5 years. So I think it's also about, how people always say, enjoy the journey, stop worrying
Yeah.
about the destination. And that's something, it's hard to learn about that. And I feel like, especially in this era right here, because we have social media, we're always looking on our timeline at what the next person's doing. And
Yeah.
I had to take a step back, like, okay, if it's something that is really like disturbing my peace in the sense of making me feel like I'm not enough or like I'm not doing enough, I have,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be a page that I follow, people that anything, like it has to go. And I listened to this podcast. What is the podcast talk called? I think it's Pep Talk. I don't know. I dropped the link on my story the other day, but it's called Pep Talk. And one of the series was overcoming destination anxiety.
I love
I
how the title was so specific.
Yes. And that's how like all her titles are. So she's a great like podcaster or whatever. But it was overcoming destination anxiety. And she kind of like talked about women specifically, how like we'll have dreams of, okay, I need to be married by 25, have my first child by 27. But then 25, 27, it does not come around. Well, it comes around and we're not there. Then
Mm-hmm.
feel like unaccomplished.
Right.
She also talked about like how God's perfect timing is real.
It.
You'll get there when it's your time to get there. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely feel like that happened to me. I was like, okay, for example, like with trading, I'm like, I'm gonna hit this rank by da 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 da, and then if I did not hit that rank, it was almost depressing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like
God,
to the point where because we allow ranks and titles and materials, just
mhm,
materials in general, whether it's the kind of house that you have, the kind of car you have, the type of perfume you have. We let materials define us, something like that. Well, I didn't get it, so therefore I'm not valuable, you know?
right, right, for sure. And then now that I am a little bit seasoned as a trainer, I realize that like the goal was not necessarily only money, it was the title.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, with me having the knowledge that I have about trading and actually focusing on trading, I don't need that title to make that money. For
Mm-hmm.
one, I can make that money whenever I want to. So it's also about, evolving as a person. That's why I'm just thankful for those experiences, like experiencing hustle culture in that sense, because now like I view it totally different, and I'm very much more easy on myself.
Yes. I know we have a few viewers, and you guys can definitely drop in comments if you agree, disagree, or just drop your personal experience. But I think in all of our journeys, whether it's as an entrepreneur or not, as a business person or not, it doesn't. Whatever journey you're in, um, I think we'll all get to, and this is where I am now, where you realize up to a certain point in your life, a lot of a lot of things that we were told and have been exposed to, we've been programmed and
Mm-hmm.
conditioned in a lot of ways. We were taught how to think. We were exposed to other people's ideas and other people's beliefs, and we were told to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I was I don't know where I was talking about this, but I was talking about the ideas of like anxiety and the ideas of depression, and all, like I said, all of us deal with it on some sort of level.
Right.
But the real idea is that people get depressed and people get anxious because they feel like they're not living up to a standard or to an idea or to a belief, a standard that's not even your own. And if it is your own, you have to ask, did I set the standard, or because I heard somebody else say it, that's
Right.
their standard, right?
Right.
You didn't uphold to somebody else's idea. You didn't uphold to somebody else's belief. Like, it's a whole bunch of things within society. The way that you look, body image and everything. I don't have this type of body, so I shouldn't be happy, or I shouldn't feel beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So even when it comes to you just defining what happiness is to you, defining what peace is to you, I do think that it involves a letting go of certain conditioning, like a certain like desensitizing to the world, like all this stuff. Like other people's thoughts. This is other people's ideas. That's not my own. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I guess I say that to say there was some unhealthy. I got to a point within my entrepreneur journey, it got very unhealthy because I felt like if I was being lazy or I mean, it got really, really bad to the point where it was like illogical. I remember I had caught COVID back in August, and I was thinking, I'm like, well, if if I'm not, going out there and getting it and doing something, then I just don't want it. I'm sick. I have COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a
Yeah.
disease and or a virus that's going around that's
Yeah.
taking people's lives. Like
Yeah.
that's affecting them heavily, emotionally, financially, like physically. I'm dealing with all that. My life is at the line, at risk, and here I am thinking that I'm not good enough. What?
Why was it so hard to give yourself 10 days? Like 10 days to say, like, I definitely get it. And I think it's kind of sad.
It
Like
is. I was
that,
like,
but you have to go through that though. That's also the tough part. It's like, I feel like you said, whether you're a business owner, anything, I feel like everybody has to go through that point to realize, like, what am I doing to
right?
myself?
Like,
Yeah.
what? Why am I? That was the most troubling part for me. I'm like, if my mind has gone here, like, if this is, and right now, what I'm paying most attention to is my psychology. So not just my thoughts, but why am I thinking those thoughts? Why am I thinking this way? Right.
Right.
So I'm like, why am I going there? Why am I thinking that? I'm not psychologically healthy right now.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do something about that. So I like, it brings me to a question for you is, you may have spoken about it a little bit as far as how you, I guess, monitor your social media as far as unfollowing people or muting people, but what are some things that you've normalized within your life that have brought about balance between work and just living?
Literally, and this is gonna sound super bougie, but even like, because what I do now, I just started about working like this year, and I work with my old dance teacher. So I've known her for like literally majority of my life. So
I
it's
love that.
work with her. I'm an office manager out there, and it's like me talking to her, like I go in her office and I'm like, I can't work. I can't work like these days. And it's also crazy that we are afraid to tell people no.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, if you explain things, people will understand. So something that's helped me to answer your question is communication.
Mm-hmm.
So just communicating. You know what? I feel
Y'all
burnt
hear that?
out.
Normalizing communication.
Something I'm still working on for sure. But just communicating, I need a pause. I feel burned out. No, I cannot work this many days a week because I have X, Y, and Z going on. So prioritizing what I want to do,
Yeah. And
versus burning myself out with working. Go ahead.
no, I was going to tell the people that are watching that they can drop things that, just, what are things that just make you guys like this is life, like this is
Yeah,
like when I eat some pizza and I have a glass of wine, I'm like, this is what life is about. And then
girl.
you get a good movie, like, or just for you guys that are watching right now, what are some things that you are normalizing in your life right now, just in general? Like I said, it doesn't have to be in regards to being a entrepreneur or having anything to do with business. I know there's some like artists on here as well, but just out of kind of realizing, like, I may have been forced to think that these things were true or these ideas, but just normalizing some things. Telling people no.
Oh, also another thing that people are scared of that I go to faithfully. I go to therapy.
I
Listen,
have
listen.
been wanting to go.
I I don't talk about negative things in therapy. Like literally my therapy, like sometimes I have to vent, but most of the time I'm just going over like what's going on in my life, like positive things. And I
Mm-hmm.
think having somebody that does not know you and you can just talk to, you can just like cash yourself out, it's very peaceful because
Yeah,
also it helps you, like sometimes when we're talking we don't realize what we're saying because we're talking to somebody else and we may be filtering what we're saying, but going to therapy regularly, it's not anything to be ashamed of. I feel like
absolutely.
that's like top tier mental health. So I see a therapist once a month. The beginning of the month, oh y'all, I be having my list. I'm like
I'm gonna talk about this,
talk about
this, and that too. I'm gonna read some of the comments. Trillionaire, started with 4. Telling people no, Lexo Plexo, making time for myself and not doubting myself when one thing doesn't get done. That part, that
mm-hmm.
part. We could have, let's say you accomplished, or you had 5 things to do today and you accomplished 3 out of it. Because you didn't accomplish the other 2, I'm not it. Like, I really don't want it. And, I'm just not going to get, that's, oh my gosh. Yes.
That's
So I
it's
get
like to think that way, like after, but I, oh my gosh, I do that. Like if I don't get everything done on my list, I'd be like, damn.
Is this in choosing myself for sure. That it's okay to be selfish sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Balance with everything. Like, it's okay to be selfless, but it's okay to be selfish too. And
Mm-hmm.
I think life itself is all about balance. So in our journey in life, is just figuring out the balance of everything, like experiencing what it is to be selfless, to be people pleasing, and then experiencing what it is to be selfish. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe not this selfish, but then balancing it out. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
Um,
selfish is like just prioritizing like what you need from yourself. Not saying, oh,
Absolutely.
F homeless people, but
Uh, you know what I'm saying? I think it is. But that also comes with growth and just evolving as a person, just getting to know yourself. Meditation, normalizing setting boundaries, slowing down, and expressing gratitude. When I in regards to meditation and gratitude, I like when I'm focusing on breath, like I'm like, thank God I can breathe, that my body just breathes by
mm-hmm.
itself. I ain't gonna do no work. Thank God for life. I love these answers, guys, for sure. Now, as we are coming here to the end, I think my last thing that I definitely want to hit on here while we're together is the fake it till you make it idea and concept that I think is also very present. Do you think that's something that's present within entrepreneurship?
Yes. And I actually think it's a good thing to do that, but you just have to make it. I think Drake, like you after a long time of faking it, you actually got to get to where you going. So I feel like it's healthy in the sense of it's causing you to think bigger. It's causing you to realize that this is something that I can accomplish. But you can't just live in a fantasy world. You have to actually make it your reality eventually.
Okay, I agree with that. Um, I think something that I'm starting to see a lot within the business, just to offer like a different side to that, is um, a lot of people just having business ideas or starting up pages, and people just, I don't know, it's like they're focused on the wrong things within business. It's like we get caught up in the image, like we get so caught up in how everything looks. And I think it goes back to when I was saying earlier that right now a lot of people, whether you have a business or not, that you can sometimes be so focused on trying to prove something to your followers, to the people that are viewing your story. And supposedly within society right now, we're supposed to have things going on for ourselves. We're not supposed to be chilling, you know. We're not supposed to just
Right.
be like not having anything. We're not supposed to be like anything that we do have going on. It's supposed to be big. So therefore, we need something to show on our story. So it doesn't become about getting results for whatever entrepreneurial avenue that you're on, or it isn't about getting results from whatever business avenue that you start up, but it's about trying to fulfill that idea and about pleasing people that I have something going on.
Yeah.
And I think in that aspect of faking it till you make it, can people stay in that fake it and they don't ever make it because you're focused on the wrong things. You're focused on the wrong side of things. It's okay to be real with people. It's okay to be authentic. It's okay for you to start up, even for you to start up your business and it not work. That's what happened for me. The entrepreneurship, in my entrepreneurship, first and foremost, before I begin it, I knew that it was going to be challenges. That I knew that there were going to be ups. I knew that it was going to be downs. I know this isn't going to be easy. This is something I've never done before. So I'm taking on everything that this journey has to offer. But it's also okay. It's okay if I try this for the first time and it takes off. It's also okay if I'm being consistent and I'm seeing success and then all of a sudden everything flops off. Nobody wants to show that part because that's not what's ideal. You know what I'm saying? I felt like you were going to say something.
No, I definitely relate to that. It's just like it happens. Just because like you're doing everything right does not mean that it's gonna go perfectly smooth. Like
absolutely.
And it's also kind of like what you were saying earlier. Social media, once again, it's just like it's giving us an idea that I have something to show. This is a $20 lip gloss. Like, like who cares? Who cares? Like, because at the end of the day, and this is something that my mentor told me, like we do all of this stuff for social media just to get a couple of likes, and then nobody cares tomorrow.
Right? Our attention spans are so short. They don't forget about it in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Have you seen like when people look at people's story, they're literally on their phones and they go,
yeah,
they're like this. I'm like, you're not even looking at it.
Yeah.
You're not even looking.
Yeah. And I feel like I even do that if it's not content that I really want to see, or if it's not somebody that I listen to on a regular basis. I'm like, okay, like your boyfriend cheating on you again. Like I'm tapping. Like I don't care. But that's also like why would somebody work so hard to please somebody else? It's about pleasing yourself. Like what is your definition of what makes you happy? What's gonna make you sleep better at night?
Yeah. And I think it all boils down to the point of I think it's just the point that everyone needs to get with themselves of self-value and self-worth. And it's easier said than done. It's going to take work. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that may take years to do because it's a lot of reconditioning. It's a lot of unlearning. Like you're used to having certain things said to you and you're used to certain ideas. And so living outside of what people have, absolutely self-love, living outside of what people have told you and learning to live in that way. And once you start to do that, you become more real with yourself. You don't care anymore about what society is doing and what society is saying. And it even affects your relationships and the way that you treat other people and the way that you interact with other people, because the way that you treat yourself and the way that you interact with yourself has grown. It's changed. You have more understanding for yourself. You have more compassion for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like everything's at the root of the mind. Everything is at literally how the mind works is how you live, for sure. So it's just this, And
I also feel like I remember going into this year, I'm like, this is the year I'm going to do so many things. And one of my goals was posting it for some reason. And
Oh, I love this.
I've checked so many things off my list that nobody knows about. And I'm like, I feel better though, because it's also the pressure of creating a post. Let me take a picture. Let me find like a fire caption. Like, what am I going to say? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, nobody cares but me. Ain't nobody going to clap but me. So,
They're like, oh yeah, okay. Anyways, on to the next.
yeah. So yeah, it's whatever you think is your reality. And right now what I think is it's my world and I'm gonna live in it. I'm gonna enjoy it. And I feel like that's how everybody should be, like centered around themselves and the people and the things that they love.
Absolutely love that for you and for everybody else on here. But as we come to a close with everything, my last question, or just something that you want to send off to the people that are watching now, maybe even because I think it goes deeper than just. I've been saying this plenty throughout the live, but it goes deeper than just entrepreneurs. It goes deeper than just business people, but children and teenagers that are coming up now. Like it affects their mind too. Therefore, whatever type of person you are, it'll determine what kind of entrepreneur you are, what kind of business person that you are. But as far as mental health goes and just well-being, what's the number one thing that, mentally speaking, that has gotten you to where you are now? Maybe it's something that you say to yourself, or maybe that top priority idea or thought that you think to yourself. But what has gotten you to your mental peace now, and what will keep you going in the future?
I feel like something that has gotten me to where I am now is writing. I
Mm-hmm.
love that's also what inspired my blog. I just love like actually physically writing. It's
Yeah.
for me like to see my thoughts on paper. I also have different journals for different things. So my father, he passed away in 2017, and since then I
Mm-hmm.
have a journal that I write letters to him. So
Yeah.
like where I grieve at. I have a journal that I call like my shadow journal, where I explore things in my life that I want to improve and how I can improve them. And then I have a journal of what I want to do and how I'm going to get there. So it's kind of like a roadmap journal. So I encourage everybody to just write. I know that we spend so much time like on our computers, on our phone. It's totally different to get a pen, get some paper and write it out and actually see your words. And something else I don't do as far as, well, of course, like my goal journal, I reread those. But once I write it, I close it because I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So I read it, I don't dwell on it. So that's something that I would like for everybody to try. Give it a try and tell me what you think about it.
I love that too. Writing is definitely a big thing for sure. Um, but nonetheless, I would add on something, but I think that goes back to everything. just writing it down. That's one of the most important things. That's why I have so many journals in different phases of my life at that as well. So just being able to write it down, to see your thoughts, and not being scared to express them. Don't be so judgmental of
Yeah,
yourself. Whatever it is that you feel, if it's anger, frustration, if it's anxiety, if it's depression. I know there's a stigma that comes with depression, but if you feel depressed, like that's not like
yeah,
like it's not this like big thing that society makes it to be. Like you just don't feel good right now,
right.
but don't judge yourself. I guess to add on that, but just to try to see yourself, try to find your own lens, because a lot of times you're looking at yourself or you're judging yourself through other people's lenses. So if you needed a distance from social media, or a distance from people, or maybe you'll hop on my lives every single week and you may hear some conversations like this, then that's what you need to do to get that peace of mind and to, you know, fill yourself with information that's going to help you mentally and psychologically for sure.
Yeah.
But
Pause.
yes, for sure. But I want to thank each and every single person that's on here right now. That not only that you came in, that you stayed on, and for the people that are commenting and sharing bits and parts of their stories as well. These are lives that happen every single week, and they so happen to be on Thursdays. So definitely follow the beautiful Leah, Miss Leea Lucas, and follow the Project 22 page if not already. We're having conversations like this all the time, and that's really the purpose of it all. It's not necessarily to get some type of result or to be some type of rich, but it's sparking conversations within our community, and from conversations that are had or heard, that's how people minds can shift. That's how choices are made, and whatever type of future that you want. That's how people begin to develop or create that for sure. But y'all have a great evening. I want to say thank you, Leah, for hopping on and accepting my invitation for sure. But y'all have a great night, and we will talk soon, and I'll see y'all next week. Let's get it.
See you guys. Thank you. Bye, girl.
Bye.